Now let's talk about image-based lighting within ZBrush. So instead of, if we go over here to light menu here, you're going to see the light turned on, or multiple lights turned on with different colors and intensities, etc., each casting different types of shadows or light types. Instead of using that information to light our scene, we're going to use as images to light our scene. So I'm going to go ahead and turn off all the lights in our scene. And we go get rid of the light menu. Actually, I take it back. Let's grab our light menu. And under background in here, this is where we're going to load in the texture for our light cap. In order to do that, an easy way you can kind of just grab one of your own. If you hit the comma key and go into your texture menu, and ZBrush ships with some. If you go in here to panoramas, you can choose any one of these. So let's go ahead and double click this first one here. And you see that's going to load it into our texture palette. You can go ahead and hit the comma key or click hide up here in your light box. And now that we have our texture loaded, we can go into our background. We can go into our texture tab here, choose that texture, and that'll go ahead and load it into our background. Next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and turn off the texture in the texture tab here. The material in here, I'm going to go ahead and choose the basic material because what we're going to be doing is essentially baking this lighting into our material. Again, if you want more information on this, go to my YouTube page, my ZBrush page, my Gumroad page, and specifically for light caps, Intro to ZBrush Part 3 and the ZBrush stylized rendering here will take you through a little more of the fine details of those operations. Another thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and hold down Shift and turn off the paint brushes in my subtool palette menu. I'm just basically turning off colorize for all of my objects here. So that's basically going to make them inherit my basic material and whatever color I choose, which is going to be white. So now the background loaded. I can go in here, so I see my background is on. You can turn the background on or off. We'll go ahead and leave it on for now. You can blur the background out if you want to. Just crank up that blur. And you can see we still have our floor plane turned on. And we're going to use that to catch shadows. Or you can crank the blur down to 0. And if we open up the light cap menu, this is where the magic's going to happen. So you're also going to see as I rotate here, we have rotate with object turned on. If we turn rotate with object off, the background will stay the same, but then my object will rotate independently of the background. So you can turn that on or off if you want to. You can also rotate your background by doing latitude and longitude and tilt. You can also change the gamma and the exposure, which we may get into in a minute. And again, just like we did in the previous videos, make sure your perspective turns on. If you want to catch your shadow with a floor plane, make sure your floor plane's turned on. Incidentally, your floor plane is going to snap to the lowest bounding box subtool that you have. So if your lowest subtool you have in your object is the lowest one in your scene, that's fine. If you do have a hidden object that's bringing your bounding box size way down here and your floor is further away from your object, for example, if I go over here to append polymesh 3D, I'm going to go ahead and scale that way up. Even if I turn that off, you're going to see my floor plane. Let's go ahead and turn background off here. You're going to see my floor plane is way down here where my bounding box of my new appended subtool is. Let's go ahead and delete that. And that'll go ahead and snap that floor plane to my lowest object there.